This video is going to be a plant tour. These are one of my favourite type of videos to watch, and I thought I'd make my own. I live in Yorkshire in the UK. Most of my plants live in this room right here, and it has a southwest facing window, so when it's not cloudy it gets sunshine for most of the day. With that being said, let's get on with the tour. So starting over here we have one of my two peace lilies, and this is quite an old one actually, but it has put out a flower recently, which is nice. There you go. There's the flower. It's looking a bit sparse, but it seems to be alright, so that's quite good. Next we have this little cactus. I'm not sure of what variety it is. It was from Morrison's, if anyone knows, but it's in this cute little blue face planter there. And next to it I have a tiny little felted cactus that I made. Moving along the mantelpiece we have a knitted cactus first of all, and then a little Fittonia. So this is a green and white one. It's also known as a nerve plant, and it just sits in a little mug and seems to be doing quite well. So moving along, we then have my string of turtles. I'm never quite sure what this plant wants. It's sort of putting out quite a few leaves, but they're really quite small leaves. So yeah, I'm not quite sure with that plant. Moving down, so then on the other side of the fireplace we have the second peace lily. This one is doing well. It looks like it's doing really well. We've got 5 flowers. Oh no, 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6th one there. And it's putting out loads of new leaves, but at the same time we've got quite a bit of sun damage and the leaves are turning quite yellow. And this one also seems quite a lot sort of thirstier than my other peace lily. I have this kind of little feeder in there which constantly gives it water, and it seems to enjoy that. And I have sort of less of a drooping issue with this plant compared to the other one. Moving across in front of my TV, on the right we have a Tradescantia Sabrina, which is gorgeous. I love this Tradescantia. It's got like silver glitter on it almost. It looks sort of fake, but it's not. It's really nice. Next to it we have this plant, which is my first attempt at using lacquer. Oh, what is it? It's a Monstera Friedrichs Starling? Not quite sure. And from my googling, I think it's sort of like a juvenile Adansonii. A new leaf has sort of come out since putting into lacquer. Yeah, we'll wait and see how that does. Moving up, we then have sort of 2 hanging plants. So firstly, have my string of hearts. Yeah, we've been through some times, me and this string of hearts. It was quite sort of bald for a bit. You can see we've got quite a few long strands with no leaves on, but I've recently sort of given it a cut. I've got a few strands sort of propagating, and there's lots of sort of new leaves coming. We've had quite a lot of splits as well, right there, which I think is a good sign. Next to that we have my devil's ivy. I'll reach up and try and show you. This is doing great. This loves it. Has a lot of new growth recently with some really big leaves. They have sort of a bit, well, some of them have a bit of speckling like this one and there, but for the most part they're kind of solidly green. But I don't really mind that. I think it looks quite cool, and yet sort of throwing out massive vines in the past sort of few months. I swear it's grown since like there, at least, so like a good few leaves. And then we get over to the bay window. I'll give you a kind of pan view. This is where most of my plants live. Right, I'm not sure quite how I'm going to do this. On this little window ledge we have sort of cacti and succulents. This little guy there, I think this is an echeveria of some sort. This is a wavy jade. And next to that we have a Haworthia fasciata. I really like it. It's got quite a lot of sort of new growth in the middle, and it comes out green and then kind of turns to this kind of more darker burgundy colour. That's on the window ledge. So next we have my Monstera deliciosa or Swiss cheese plants. I've had some sort of good leaves recently with lots of fenestrations in, compared to kind of these little ones at the bottom which didn't really have much in. But yeah, the recent ones have been massive, as you my hand on it, which is great. Directly behind that we have my Chinese money plant. It's putting out new growth kind of constantly. The recent leaves it's put out are massive. That's like bigger than my palm. And we don't seem to be sort of losing many leaves actually. They are drooping down. I think that might be to do with sort of the heaviness of the leaves more than anything. Sort of in a little gap below that, if you can see, is another little succulent. So this is a Crashula Hottentot. It looks quite funky. I kind of just leave it to do its thing in the sun. Next to that we have Ficus elastica. I think this is a Taneki, but not quite sure. It seems to kind of keep its pink quite long, but not as much as the rose one does. In front of that we have a second rubber plant. I think this is a burgundy. I'm not quite sure on my identification skills, but it has these lovely, lovely dark leaves. This is a new leaf. It's still got a bit green. It's not got that thick leaf that sort of mature leaves have. Next to that, this seems to be inadvertently kind of the dark plant space. This is my Raven's Easy plant. I'm not quite sure about too much new growth. I think this might be in a bit too much sun, so I might need to move that. Next to that we have my Begonia Lucerna, I think. It was given to me as a Begonia maculata, but I don't think it is. I think it looks really interesting. It has these lovely long leaves and the cute little spots all over. This is its newest leaf that it put out, so it's still quite delicate, I guess, compared to the older ones, but it's bigger than the old one, and it's already putting out kind of another new leaf. And then the other day I also noticed that we've actually got more leaves coming. We've got one leaf there and another leaf there, so that'll be great, so it'll start sort of filling out a little bit. Then sort of next to that we have kind of 3 Dracaenas, a kind of big one with 3 stems, and then we have these 2 little ones just down there, which is like its mum and little babies. I've had these for years, especially the big one, and I mostly just ignore them, to be honest. They're putting out quite a lot of new growth, so I'm assuming that they like where they are. We do have a bit of a sort of bending issue going on with this big one. I don't know if you can see, it sort of goes, rather than being straight up, it kind of bends back on itself. I've tried to kind of put this plant so it wants to go towards the sun, but that doesn't really seem to be happening. So I just sort of let it go wherever. Yeah, so we have this little cactus, which I always forget the name of, a fez aloe. That started off a lot smaller. I think I got him from IKEA, and again I kind of just ignore him for the most part. Occasionally sort of feed with cactus and succulent feed when I remember. Next up we have a turtle vine, Ecclesia repens. Should probably move this in somewhere a bit shadier, but it's just a cute little pot. It was only £2 from Tesco. Oh, actually I'll move it down there so I remember. Just behind the back there we have my lithops. That's another sort of newer purchase. They look so cool. I saw someone sort of post at local garden centre have some and just had to go and get some. I've not done anything with them yet, I don't think, so I'll watch and they've split a bit more. Then next on the plant stand we have my Alocasia Sabrina. This is gorgeous. I got it maybe a month or so ago. It was only £12, and since then it's put off, I think, this new leaf, and I think that one's the other one. Yeah, that one feels fresher than these ones. I've been trying to sort of keep this quite humid, which it seems to be liking from these kind of 2 leaves. I mean, I don't know if they're the biggest leaves, but they're quite big for this plant, and I really like the kind of height that it gives. Below that we have Tradescantia tricolor, fluminescens, something like that. Although it seems to be mostly putting out new green growth. There's a bit of sort of drying out going on up there, but then the soil still feels damp, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. And it's still putting out new leaves, so I think it's fine. I don't know, I might need to look into it a bit more. Below here, I forgot to show you, this is a Peperomia Pepperata Lilian, I think it's called. It does also have it classic kind of peperomia flowers, but I just really don't like the look of them, so cut them all off. And it actually seems to have sort of perked up a bit since doing that. It's quite cool. It's got kind of a ripple effect, and that's not on a little plant stand as well, which is cute. So we have 3 little plants. Well, we've got a little jade plant, was a plant swap sort of find. Next we have, I think it's some kind of sedum, Burrows tail, donkey's tail. I don't think it's that. I'm not quite sure what one it is. And then next that we just have 2 leaf succulent propagations that seem to be doing alright. For now they seem fine in this tiny little pot. Then the final few plants in the window. Cactus in a little smiley face plant pot. I think I picked this up from Aldi or Lidl. It's put out a lot of new growth, so I had to repot it into a slightly bigger pot. And yeah, it's put out quite a lot of new little stems, although quite a few of its sort of original spikes are falling off. But again, with like all of this sort of cacti and succulents, I kind of just ignore it. But I think they like that, so I don't feel too bad. Next to that, in this little yogurt pot, we have a little Chinese money plant pup. It's quite tall. We've got a bit of haphazard sort of leaves going on, but I think I took a load out for plant swaps, and then this one was left. Maybe I'll find a new home for it somewhere, and put it in a proper pot rather than a yogurt pot. And next to that, another little plant. I think it's some kind of peperomia. It might be a peperomia pixie. I'm not quite sure. It's got kind of slightly soft leaves. I should probably look into what it is. Unfortunately that doesn't actually have what it is on, and I think it just said peperomia mix on the sticker, but quite cute little. And then next to it, in a spot that is definitely too sunny for it, is my calathea. I think it's called Eternal Flame, so it has these kind of bright orange flowers that come out in the autumn time. In the sun it doesn't do it justice, but it has these lovely dark sort of purple burgundy leaves underneath, and a really rich sort of dark green leaves. Yeah, there we go. If I close that, let the camera adjust, there we go, that's much better. And it probably enjoys not being directly in sunlight. I'm hoping that it will bloom again. When I got it last year around October, it was flowering, so yeah, I'm hoping that it will do that again. We'll just have to sort of wait and see. Then the final few plants in this room are just sort of on the coffee table. I do quite a lot of kind of moving around between the plants, so these ones aren't always here. And starting on the right, we have another little Photonia. This is, yeah, sort of more red and green one. This one was a lot bigger, but I kind of didn't really know what I was doing when I first got it. But managed to kind of save these 2 stems and 2 additional leaves and repotted it. I've kind of learnt about these little drama queens, and now it seems much happier. Next to that we have this, which is a polka dot plant. It's got gorgeous green and pink leaves. I got this as part of a plant swap, but this is doing great. They are both kind of slanted towards the side. I think I need to, yeah, turn them around maybe. There we go. Gosh, they look even more slanted there. But yeah, it's putting out lots of new growth. Keep on pulling off the flowers because I read that they tend to do that and then die, which I don't want. It's kind of putting off quite a few little offshoots, but I might pinch off the top and put them in the soil again, because I think they're quite easy to propagate like that. So this is my Oxalis triangularis. I've recently given this a haircut, but we've got quite a few sort of new little ones coming. It's got these really interesting looking purple leaves, and actually in the UK I think it's more thought of as a weed, and I have it in this sort of bright yellow pot to kind of set off the purple. It moves around, it faces the light during the day, and then the leaves close up at night, which is sort of really fun to see. Behind that, in this sort of little, I don't even know if this is a plant pot, got 2 little handles, that's the word. And that I just have some of my Tradescantia tricolor cuttings in that I just propagated in water and then popped in here. They're putting out a lot of new growth, and this one, yeah, definitely has a bit more of the purple in it than the main plant. I also sort of had a little bit of a stem that I just plopped in to see what it'd do, and we've got a new little leaf coming off. So yeah, hopefully that'll kind of become a bit bigger. I've kind of got an idea to maybe hang it up if these start trailing downwards, but I feel like they might have other ideas because this one's kind of standing straight up a bit. I might need to rearrange that a bit. Final plant on the coffee table for now is this prayer plant on Maranta. Yeah, this is another sort of new one. I got this quite cheap from a local plant shop because it wasn't looking as great, but I've given it some fertiliser. It seems fine. We've got some new leaves coming up there. It did have some flowers on. They've gone, so I should probably cut off the flower stems. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's doing quite well. Then actually we've got one final plant. The final plant in the living room is this Musa tropicana, banana, dwarf banana plant. It's putting out a fair bit of new growth. Again, it seems to get this angle. Maybe that's just how all of my plants grow. But yeah, it's got these lovely big leaves. Obviously we're not going to get a banana off it. It's fairly low maintenance. I mean, I've got it quite far away from a window and kind of keep it fairly moist. And yeah, it's putting out quite a bit of new growth. But again, it's sort of another one of those plants that I kind of ignore. I've now moved up to our hallway where we have this other rubber plant. This one's slightly larger than the ones in the lounge, and it does have a sort of bamboo stake in, although it's probably a bit hopeful and I think it might take a few years to actually get to that height. I'm not quite sure on the variety, but it does look like it might have another leaf coming, so hopefully, yeah, it will grow tall. Then in my boyfriend's office, I've put the spider plant in there. This is just a regular spider plant that I got at a plant swap from someone's main plant, which was producing lots of little ones. And my boyfriend wanted a plant that he didn't have to do much to in his office, so I thought a spider plant was perfect for this. It's got lots of new leaves and seems to be quite happy. My bedroom is up in the attic, and so we only have one window, so this room doesn't get very much light, but I've still got two plants here. Firstly, we have another cactus, so in a similar pot to the one downstairs, except pink, not blue. This is another cactus of an unknown variety. Then next to that we have a Sansevieria. I think this is a Sansevieria black coral. This one seems really happy in low light and has been putting out some new growth. Even if it could grow faster downstairs getting more light, I still want to have a real plant up here, because we also have quite a few fake plants, but I won't show you those. And that's it. That's all of my plants. If you have any questions about what I've said, just leave a comment and I'll try my best to get back to you. But other than that, thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed it.